Nirbhay sir. Hello. Sir, we are going to start the session. Hello, Nirbhay sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's our honor and privilege to introduce today's plenary session speaker, Dr. Nirbhay Kumar Chaube, a professor working as an associate professor and dean of computer science, Ganpat University, Mehsana, Gujarat. Sir has received his PhD degree in computer science from Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He has authored three books published by Springer and IGI Global and published several research papers in peer-reviewed international journals and conferences. He has published the 8-book chapter and research work is a well cited by the research community worldwide. Google citation 418 and Edge Index 11. Professor Chaube is a senior member of IEEE, also a senior member of ACM and a life member of Computer Society of India. He has been actively associated with IEEE India Council and IEEE Gujarat section and served IEEE in various volunteer positions. He has received several awards, including IEEE Outstanding Volunteer Award, year 2015, IEEE Region 10, Asia Pacific, Gujarat Technological University Pedagogical Innovation Awards in 2015, IEEE Outstanding Branch Counselor Award in the year 2010, IEEE Region 10, Asia Pacific. Sir is delivering a today's talk on WSN and data analytics. Sir, it's over to you, sir. Please.
Yeah, let me unmute. I hope I am audible now.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you, Professor Hitesh Shah sir, for brief introduction, and thanks for inviting me for delivering the talk. In fact, whatever I have gained throughout my research journey, I thank the entire management of the Charutar Vidya Mandal, which is now university, and GCETC department is especially for inviting me. And Ballabhidanagar is my Karma Bhumi workplace. I work more than 12 years over there, and I always love to have been interacting with my colleague. So thank you, sir, for inviting me for this talk. And I draw my time to prepare the very simple way introductory things related to the introductory part of the wireless sensor networks. What are the applications, and thereafter we will go for and cover the aggregation technique. Aggregation is one of the important uh, approach, and for the to reduce the energy conservation in sensor network. So uh, after the aggregation, the data analytics will be done. So aggregation is very much important for reducing the redundant data packets, in fact energy consumption. So aggregation is one of the important points which is has to be to be discussed. So my let me share my screen first, and to avoid this energy consumption, in fact, I would like to keep my video up sometimes. Okay, so uh, let me share my screen to share the PPT. So I hope now the screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, so the topic of this talk is related to the WHN and data aggregation, and then we will cover something data analytics, big data in analytics in wireless sensor networks, right? So these are the objective. To prepare the entire presentation, what I have done, I have referred many of the research paper and prepare this PPT for the registered participants. So the major focus of the entire presentation is to be aware about the wireless sensor networks and the basic, concept of the design issue which in the wireless sensor network. So design issues and structured, of the wireless sensor networks, and understanding the communication structures, analyzing the whatever the protocols stacks are there for the aggregation and routing. But we will not be covering the routing protocols. We'll be more focusing on the aggregation part. Okay. So aware about the data gathering and aggregation, and understand the aggregation protocols. So these are the basic objective, main principal focus of this talk. Okay. So these are the agenda items which I have listed. We will be covering the brief introduction of the WHN and wireless sensor networks and available applications, and design issue, research directions. So research direction I have listed third. Thereafter we'll be discussing the wireless sensor node structure and communication structure and data aggregation parts. And thereafter some suggestions for the research plan and big data in WHN, what is happening, right? So data analytics required only after having the, the aggregated data. Okay. So because the huge data is generated from the sensor networks, and sometimes the duplication data, the same multiple sensor collect the, same data. So redundant data should be avoided. So many mechanism. It is a huge area, the wireless sensor networks, and a variety of applications are there. Variety of kind of the data are basically coming. Okay, in the, so these are the points. And overview of the wireless sensor networks. We know that the wireless sensor network consists of the base station and a number of deployed small devices, that is the sensor nodes. Okay, and it is deployed densely, sometimes in a small scale, right? It all depends upon the application requirements. And so it is a group of specialized sensors which is having the capacity for the communications, which is having the capacity to monitor and record the condition at the diverse locations. uh, Devices is having the, power enabled. Okay, so energy enabled devices, and it is deployed in several devices equipped with the sensor that perform a collaborative measure. Sensor networks will work in the collaborative manners. Okay, because the intermediary node must have to forward the data packets. Okay, so they work in the collaborative manners. This is the things which I have uh, in fact taken from one of the papers. This is the wireless sensor network communication architecture. You can see that the field, the area where the sensor nodes are deployed, you can see that the 100 or 1000 or thousand, it all depends upon the application area of the WHN. Wireless sensor networks are deployed in the area, and that area is known as the sensor field. So you can see here that the multiple nodes have been deployed, and deployed for the very for some purpose. I mean, collecting some information, maybe the temperature, maybe the heat, maybe the enemy movement. Okay, so sensor nodes, they collect the data, but again the sensor nodes will be performing their duty based on the instructions received from the sync node. So sync node, you can see it is the they pass some instructions to the sensor nodes, and sensor node perform these data, sense the data, and they thereafter they basically return the information. And again, the aggregation, you can see here, the path establishment, aggregations, everything will be done throughout these network nodes. Okay, so the sync will work in between the outer world and between your sensor networks. Okay, so this deploy sensor field. So this is the base station you can consider. This is the communication medium, internet is there, and thereafter the user is here. So you can see that this is the overall communication architecture of the wireless sensor network. So we talk about that WSN is the wireless sensor network is configured to monitor the physical environment conditions, temperature, vibration. So all these nodes are having the different capacity, right? Some nodes uh, they sense the temperature, pressure, and so forth, right? So WSN nodes, wireless sensor network nodes, cooperative pass their data through the network, and to maintain the location, uh, send the data to the main location and maintain the path. So you can see that the maintain the path, I mean A to B, B to C, C to D, and E. So this is the path, one path, and then the data transferred has been occurred. Okay, so these contains the thousand and networks or low scale networks, right? So here, wireless sensor networks enables the applications and require non-conventional paradigm. So, and when we are designing the wireless sensor networks, the protocol designing, uh, uh, due to the several constraints, many constraints are there, like energy is the one, redundancy, data redundancy is the two, right? Distance is the third. So many parameters are there that you'll be learning here. So owing to the requirements for all these low devices complexity with low energy consumptions, okay, and long network lifetime is there. So and this is the major challenge. To maintain the lifetime is the major challenge in the WSN, and proper balance between the communication and signal data processing capabilities. This must has to be found. And this basically, these are the feature or characteristics of the wireless sensor network. They motivate the researchers to carry out the research activity in this area, standardization the process, industrial investment happening, and in this field for last many years, many decades, right? Applications of the wireless sensor network are very interesting. You can see that wireless sensor network can be deployed for the military applications, can be deployed for the area monitoring, can be deployed for the transportation, even WSN, using the Bluetooth technology and other radio frequency mechanism, you can use these for the health applications, environmental sensing. WSN is used mostly nowadays for the IoT also. So you can see that the Internet of the Things that we are talking about. So WSN play a very important role when the IoT implementation is done. And when IoT paradigm in its inception, you can see that wireless sensor networks are recognized. Okay, and many aspects of the life where the IoT applied, like connecting homes, okay, to make your smart home, to make your smart city based on the IoT, connected cities, connected cars, roads. Okay, so all these things they actually based on some sensors. Okay, so road to devices that track individuals' behavior. Okay, and industrial monitoring is also one of the points. So we are not going to talk much about the applications, but these are the applications where the wireless sensor networks mainly work. Okay, so you can see the wireless sensor networks for the military applications where the battlefield surveillance can be done, tracking the enemy can be done. So many sensor network can be deployed, and you can track the enemy movement. Okay, and so area monitoring, you can see that the sensor nodes are deployed over the region where the some phenomenon is to be monitored. Like phenomenon can be the heat, can be the temperature, can be the pressure. Okay, so these are the things that you can monitor using the WHN. Transportation, where the WHN can be very much useful. Okay, so where the using this WHN technology, the alert drivers, congestions, traffic problems can be done in advance. Okay, health application we have talked. Environmental sensing is another important point of the wireless sensor network, where the kind of the air quality you can monitor using wireless sensor networks, deployment of the WHN. Forest fires you can detect, greenhouse monitoring you can apply the WHN. Landsliding, like many of the hilly area, terrestrial area, the landsliding is done. You can deploy the sensors, and you can I'll give the alert to the soldiers where or the common people. So landsliding detection can also be done. Underwater sensor network is the another important point. Okay, so these are the area. Industrial monitoring we have talked about, where the wireless sensor networks have been developed for machinery condition based maintenance. So these are the few area. Agriculture sector you can also focus. Okay, so to make the agriculture system is smartly, intelligently, to reduce the waste, to reduce the enhance the you know capacity. Okay, so many area where the agriculture sector you can consider for the cost optimization of the energy. Okay, so many area that you can actually focus in agriculture also. Okay, so these are the applications part that we have covered. Now the design issue of the wireless sensor networks, and these all are the research issues. Okay, so that we have prepared from many challenges nowadays are placed when we are deploying the sensor networks. And the sensor networks, wireless sensor networks are basically superset, and it has been overcome by the ad hoc networks. But when you are talking about the ad hoc networks and wireless sensor networks is also the kind of the ad hoc networks. But ad hoc networks usually, like mobile ad hoc networks, vehicular ad hoc networks, this is happening for the small scale. Okay, so one major differences between the VANET, MANET, and the kind of the ad hoc networks are the scaling. Okay, so scaling is the one part, and uh, the second thing is base station when we are talking about. So wireless sensor network, the sync will be there, right? Intermediate will node will be there. Ad hoc networks also, but ad hoc network is completely baseless. Okay, so there is some, each nodes they are having some range, and they communicate to the particular nodes based on their availability in their range. Okay, so local what we can say, local base ad hoc networks they work. Okay, so scalability is the one difference. Second is the base station. So these are the major differences between the ad hoc networks and wireless sensor, core wireless sensor network. So sensor nodes communicate over the wireless, and this is not based on the wired. Okay, so all the sensor nodes are equipped with the some signaling system. And so obviously when we are using the wireless, so logi lines will be there. Sometimes connection will be lost, and right. So these are, and there are several limitations, limited usually non-renewable energy supply of the sensor node sometimes, right? Like solar enable battery power will be there. But every sensor nodes, they are having some energy inbuilt, okay? And very few sensor nodes, they implement the kind of the renewable. Nowadays, the renewable energy like solar and some other type of even the fiber optics enable sensor nodes are deploying nowadays somewhere, but it all depends upon the manufacturing of the nodes. And maximize the lifetime of the network is the major challenge in when you are designing the wireless sensor network. So the protocols need to be designed from the beginning with the objective of the efficient management of the energy resource. So this is the one challenge. Fault tolerance, this is the another research issues and challenges. Okay, so because the sensor nodes can fail anytime, you can see that kind of the aggregation technique, routing technique, they form the cluster, they form the tree, right? You can see that even a single nodes fail, the entire data transmission will stop there, right? So in this case, when the networks and sensor nodes fail due to any reason, maybe the hardware problems or any someone has damaged the physical devices or the battery exhausted, right? Any reason, okay? So then the data must be secured, the data must be transmitted to the base station. So fault tolerance technique is the another research you can focus in the wireless sensor networks, because and node failure to be much higher than the one normally considered in the wire. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the wireless failure of the node, and even in the wireless sensor networks where the node is having the energy battery, okay, so and every node is having the lifetime, okay, so this is the major issue here. You need to check each and every node lifetime, okay, so how much battery power is remaining, periodically you need to check it, and the protocols deployed in the sensor network should be able to detect these failures. Okay, so you need to design the protocol in such a way that you have to find the fault tolerance. So there are many fault tolerance technique are available. You can refer in the good journals, okay. And so basic objective of the fault tolerance is to provide some mechanism when the node is failed, the data should be transmitted to the base station. So this is the another a challenging issue, okay. So and scalability, wireless sensor networks vary in scale from several nodes to potentially several thousand nodes. So it all depends upon the application we already have discussed. And the deployment density is also variable. Okay. So collecting the high resolution data, the node density, that might reach the level where the node has several thousand neighbors in their transmission route. But here, the protocols deployed in sensor network need to be scalable. So, it should not happen that this protocol will work for the small scale kind of thing. So many researchers, they are working to make the protocols, routing algorithms in a scalable manner. So this is the another research issue and design issue which is need to be focused, which is has already been addressed, but still there are lots of scope to carry out the research in WHN. The fourth part is the production cost, which is related to the the industry which make the sensor nodes. Okay, so which manufacture the sensor nodes. So because the many deployment models consider the sensor nodes to be disposable devices. Okay, so you can see that the sensor when the life of the sensor node is over, okay, then you can see that the sensor node is having no use. So the sensor node will be disposable devices, and sensor networks can compete with traditional information gathering approach only. Okay, so only if the individual sensor nodes can produce very cheaply. So I mean, it is the challenge to prepare the sensor nodes in very cheap costing. Okay, so this $2, $3, it all again depends upon the what kind of requirements of the nodes. Okay, sensing requirements. Okay, so it may be the costly also, it should be the cheaper also. Like many of the sensor nodes you can ear monitoring nodes you can buy even in the 1,000 and 1,500 rupees. Okay, or some nodes you can actually buy 2,000, 3,000 rupees. So it all depends upon the feature and of the sensor nodes. Hardware constraint is the again the design issues, which is minimum. You can see that the sensor node to have the sensing. So every sensor node should have at least the 4 components, right? So this is again related to the research or industry persons who is working in this area. Okay, so minimum sense there are 4 parts, that sensing unit should be there, processing unit should be there, transmission unit should be there, and power supply. These are the minimum requirement. Okay, above this you can have the additional functionality, right? Additional functionality, basically the power consumptions, physical size of the nodes, or some other monitoring system that you can actually implement, that you can incorporate in the sensor nodes, right? But these are the minimum things. Okay, so to be balanced against the cost and low power needs. So please remember, when there is always trade-off in between the cost and the, if anything you are adding in the sensor nodes. Okay, if you are adding anything which is having the complex computation, then obviously it is the trade-off in between your energy and because it requires the energy to compute the complexity, right? So always trade-off in between the energy and complexity. Okay, so this is the one major challenge you can consider here in terms. And again, the cost will also increase. Okay, so these need to be balanced. Okay, so these are the points that I have listed and discussed. Topology, I mean the layout, the structure of the WHN wireless sensor network topology. So this is the, I mean the topology changes is also sometimes happens unless and until it is the static wireless sensor network. Sometimes the mobility is also there. Velocity of the nodes movement is there. When some nodes, for example, some cluster has been prepared and some some nodes fail, they then it is a chance that they change the topology, the layout of the network will change. So the wireless sensor networks evolve the many aspects, and they continue to be network with constant resource in terms of the energy, computing power, memory, communication capabilities. And these are the constant where the energy consumption is the main point you can consider the paramount importance. And these has to be demonstrated by the large number of algorithms. So techniques are there, I mean protocols, many people, researchers, they have worked on the many protocols, they have developed, they have enhanced the existing protocols, right? So to save the energy, so thereby extending the lifetime of the network. So even if you are saving some energy which is having in the establish the network, you can enhance the life of the wireless sensor networks. Okay, so this is the another area where the researcher and faculty members can focus. So topology maintenance is one of the most important issue research and basic objective to reduce the energy consumption. Okay, so these are the points here. This is Okay, so topology structure, just a moment. मैडम हाँ मैडम 1 बजे 1:30 बजे तक मेरा एक दूसरा लेक्चर है. ओके, तो उसमें हम ठीक है. ओके, जस्ट कन्वे माय मैसेज. ओके ओके, ठीक है, डन. विल डू दैट. ओके. So I hope I am audible. I'm just speaking, right? Professor Hitesh sir. Hello. Can one of the student faculty members please confirm whether I am audible or not? Hello. Hello. Okay, good. So okay, right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we are discussing about the research, design issues. Okay, so transmission media is the another challenging task in the wireless sensor networks when we are designing. Okay, so transmission media, you can see that the MAC layer and where the ISM bands, okay, industry, scientific and medical bands, there are many wireless channels are available, which based on the radio communication. Okay, so you can see here that the communication between the nodes is normally implemented. Okay, so radio communications over the popular ISM band, there are several ISM bands are there, you can refer. Okay, but this is the another research area where you can focus. Okay, so designing the kind of the wireless transmission channel. So some sensor networks, they also use the opticals. They use some infrared communications. Okay, and with infrared communications, you can see that the advantage of being the robust and virtually interference free sometimes. Okay, so this is the another area where power consumption, since the inception we are talking about the power consumptions, right? So challenges of the sensor networks revolve around the limited power resource, because the every sensor nodes, they equip with the some battery. Okay, so the size of the nodes limit the size of the battery. Please remember, when you are I mean, adding something, okay, in the sensor node, then again the size of the sensor node will increase. Okay, so this software and hardware design needs to be carefully considered. Okay, and the issue of efficient energy use is the major challenge, and lots of research is happening, in energy consumptions in the wireless sensor networks, because energy is the major issue. Okay, and for instance, and it is not possible that everywhere the sensor nodes should have the fiber optics and I mean underwater network, underwater sensor network, UWSN. You cannot have the kind of this I mean algorithm which apply in the terrestrial or plane area, right? So the and again the power we are talking. So this is the when you are applying the compression technique sometimes. Okay, again it requires some energy, because the complexity of the counting the compressions will requires the memory. So energy used for the radio transmission, but uses the additional energy for computation and or filtering. So this is another area where you can focus for the research purpose. So these are the things that we have covered. Okay, so applications that we talk about, design issue of the wireless we have talked about. Okay, now we'll be more focusing on the structure of the wireless sensor nodes. So meantime, if anyone is having any query, we can take, otherwise we can continue. Just type, if anyone is having any query, I can check in the message. You can type in the chat box so that I can stop for a few minutes and we can interact with you. Anyone is having the any query until now? Just type in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
So is anyone is having any doubt or query until now? Whatever we have covered. Participants 136. No, sir. Great. Okay. So everything is going through. Okay. So there are. Okay. So thank you. So let me continue with the next part. Okay. So that is a structure. Okay. So structure of the wireless sensor node. Okay. So you can see these are the mandatory parts. Okay. Whenever you are designing the sensor node must have the sensing unit, must have the processing unit, must have the transceiver unit, and must have the power unit. These are the mandatory. Because to sense, to process, and to transmit the data, okay, you need some power. If power is not there, the sensor node is dead. Okay. So these are the minimum and mandatory requirement. I think we have discussed in the previous also, right? So this is the minimum requirement. So you can see that in the figure 24 next here, the entire architecture which I have taken from one of the papers. Okay. So you can see that also has the application dependent additional components such as location finding system and a power generator and mobilizer. So these are the optional part, these are not the mandatory. So this is the suggested. You can have the many other additional components in your sensor node. Okay. So sensing units are usually composed of the two subunits. You can see here. Now let us discuss about the structure of the wireless sensor node. So in this figure, you can see that this is the sensor field. Please see, this is the sensor field where all the sensor nodes are deployed. Okay, and these are the small sensor nodes. This is the target node. Okay, this is the established path where the data is has been transmitting to the base station. Okay, you can see that the sensor a node here. Sensor nodes basically the main components is the sensing unit. So sensing unit, we talk about the sensor, and they like this sensor, they will sense the local information and they will transmit to the neighbors or next neighbors or their nearest, okay, or nearest cluster heads. It all depends upon the what kind of algorithm they use. And thereafter the ADC. So this modulation technique are there, right? So they convert the analog to digital converter. Okay, so all these data, collected data, will be converted into the digital and will be send it to the processing unit. So you can see here that the processing unit is there, and processing unit should must have some storage capacity. Please remember, okay, because to process this thing you need some storage capacity. And after that, after processing this, there must be some transmission mechanism. So transceiver should must be there, and to process all these things you need the power unit. Okay, so this is the figure 2, and these are the optional parts that you can see. Position finding system. I mean, you can track where the node is there. You can track, I mean, you can have the additional functionality where you can find the mobility of the nodes if the dynamic wireless sensor networks is there. Okay, so this is the overall structure of the wireless sensor node. Okay, so the same things we have discussed here is written, like the analog signals that is produced by the sensor are converted to the digital by ADC. So this an analog to digital converter is there, and the processing unit is generally associated with the small storage. So small storage in the processing unit is required, okay, required for to manage the procedure, okay, that the sensor node collaborate with the other nodes to carry out the assigned sensing test. And so these are the important components. And sensor nodes, you have seen that sensor nodes are scattered, okay, so deployed in the random manner, you can say, unless and until some location requirement is required. Okay, so each of these scattered sensor nodes has the capability and collect these data, route the data back to the sink, and then sink will process it and send it to the useful informations. And thereafter the sink, you can see this base station will communicate to the the satellite or internet base. Okay, so this is the overall communication structure of the nodes. This is the communication structure of the wireless sensor network. So this is the overview. You can see whenever we are basically talking about the wireless sensor network, there must be some architecture. So communication structure of the WSN wireless sensor networks, you can see that these are the mandatory parts. Okay, like this is the communication structure, and this is the task-based monitoring structure you can consider. Okay, so here the physical layer is there. Okay, so physical layer where all the kind of the physical communications, modulations, and so many things happen at the physical layer, unless and until it is the wired. Okay, so when we are talking about the wireless, so physical layer should be the communication channel. Then data link layer is there. Okay, uh, and so these are the five layers, which is basically the TCP kind of things, TCP IP protocol. All of you are aware about this. Okay, so data link layer, what has happened in the data link layer? Data link layer, there are two components of the data link layer. One is the LLC, second one is the the MAC. Okay, media access control. And MAC and LLC LLC is basically use all these kind of like correction, encryptions, detection. Okay, and MAC, where the you can consider the 802.11 and other CSMSE CD technology. These are the things. Network layer is responsible, you are aware about the finding the route and sending the data packets. Transport layer, you are aware, I assume that this is the communication layer, everybody is aware. Okay, so transport layer, only the two protocols, that is the TCP and UDP. Okay, end-to-end process communication, that is the logical communication is happening. And application layer, all these parts. Okay, so interfacing, encryption, security. But security, I have seen the schedule. Jariwala Saab is going to talk in the next lecture about the security. Security is required each and every layer. Security required even the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, all layer security required. Okay, and these are the some additional task management plan, mobility management plan, power management plan. Okay, so these are the communication structure in the wireless sensor network. So please remember, somebody is working in the physical layer, someone is working in the MAC layer, LLC layer for the correction and detection of the received data packets. Someone will work on the network, like we, the computer science people, usually work on the network and transport layer and application layer. But electrical electronics people, they usually work in the physical and data link layer as well, though they are working all these, right? So because so these are the in fact the communication structure of the wireless sensor networks we talk about. Okay, so this is the things that we have discussed. Okay, so protocols stack combines the power and routing awareness, integrates data with the networking. Okay, So power efficiency is the major issue in WHN that we have talking since the morning. Okay, and different type of application software can be built. You can see on the application layer. So here you can see the kind of the interfacing or the required I mean various kind of application you can develop and interface with the wireless sensor nodes. Okay, so these things that we have written, and this layer makes hardware software interfacing. Okay, so we have talked about the Mac. We have talked about the LLC, logical link control, which is used at at the data link layer. So we are not going to discuss much about this. But again, the in WHN, the environment is very sometimes noisy, sometimes disturbing, sometimes snow area, sometimes the heat area, right? So sensor nodes can be the mobile, and the MAC protocols must be power aware. So please remember, this is the one area where many researchers they are working to in the MAC. Okay, so what has happened, uh, you know packet collision is occurs. Sometimes the two sensors sense the same data, so that is the redundancy. So many things I mean are there. So this is the one part, and the physical layer address the need of simple but robust modulation techniques should be there. Okay, frequency selection should be there, data encryption, transmission, and receiving. So these are the things that you can consider. Physical layer, the power mobility, and that we have all talked about the energy part, connectivity. Okay, so these are the things that you can consider. Now, the next topic, which is interesting topic of the aggregation. Okay, so data aggregation in the WHN wireless sensor networks is one of the challenging tasks, and it is needed. Okay, without the aggregation, the wireless sensor networks is this we can say the aggregation is heart of the wireless sensor networks, because the I mean, whatever the data has been sent should not be transmitted to the base station. Please remember, only the selected aggregated based on the some function, max, mean, average, or whatever the other functions are there for the aggregation. After processing, all the received packets should be processed, should be aggregated, and then the aggregated data should be transmitted to the base station or sync node. Please remember, right? So aggregation, what we can say, it is the heart of the wireless sensor networks, and combining the useful data and in the particular region of interest, like we have seen the sensor field, where the one region many sensor nodes have been deployed. Okay, so the sensor nodes usually sensor nodes sense the data, and but sensor node will sense the data based on the instructions given by the sync node, because the instructions and order will be given by the base station, and then the kind of the sensing will start. Okay, otherwise the sensor unit will be in the idle mode to save the energy. So please, this is another technique. Okay, so when the sync node or base node, it will give the instructions to the leaf node, that has been deployed at the last, which has to supposed to sense the data, right? So they will the sense the data and transmit to the this their parent node, and parent node will perform some aggregation. So aggregation, please remember, aggregation is not done at the leaf node, is the node where the data is sent. Aggregation is done at the intermediate node. Aggregation is done at the sync node. Okay, so intermediate node, it all depends upon the algorithms and protocol. Aggregation protocol has been developed, right? So you can see that there are many ways that aggregation has been done. Okay, and this is a very interesting topic. I mean, so data aggregation is considered as one of the fundamental processing for the to save the energy. Okay, and it is the very effective way, okay, because the limited resources are there, so aggregation is mandatory. And due to the high node density in sensor network, same data is sensed by many nodes. So then the redundancy will be there, then the duplication will be there. I mean, in the one, for example, cluster node, or alternative, you can consider like 20 meters surrounding range, all the nodes, they will, I mean, sense the same information. So, right. So this energy consumption is less for the computation as compared to the data transmission. So data transmission, take the more energy than computation. Okay, because transmission requires the lots of energy. Okay, so energy consumption is less when you are applying some computation, but consumption is required when the data will be transmitted from the source node or leaf node to the parent node or to the sink node. Okay, then the energy consumption is more. Okay, so effective data aggregation technique, we are talking about effective, okay, efficient and effective data aggregation technique can enhance the energy efficiency. And when you enhance the energy efficiency, obviously you can enhance the network lifetime as well. Okay, so the main objective of this aggregation algorithm to gather and aggregate data in the energy efficient manner. Okay, and the only objective is to enhance the lifetime of the network. And wireless sensor networks have the limited computation power, you are aware, limited memory, limited battery power, and this leads the increased complexity. Because the limitations is there, we have to perform all the instructions within the limited time. Like I have been given 1.5 hours, it is challenging me, okay, to cover everything in the 1.5 hours. So this is the one limitations, I cannot cover all the topics in 1.5 hours, right, or 1 hour, but I try my best. Similarly, in the sensor nodes, all the connected nodes should perform their duty, all the sync nodes should perform their duty in the limited resources, right? So this data aggregation, you can say that the aggregating the sensor data, and there are several approaches are there to perform the data aggregation, which has been actually explored in the next figure, that is in 42 here. Next is there, but before this, I'd like to cover some of the basic taxonomy which is required in the data aggregation. Thereafter, we will cover the data aggregation technique 1 or 2, and thereafter, maybe if the time allow, we will go. Otherwise, we will stop there. But see, data aggregation taxonomy, you should be aware about the basic concept. I mean, the taxonomy, like performance parameters. Okay, so energy efficiency is the major performance matrix of the wireless sensor network. Please remember. Thereafter, the network lifetime that we have talked about. Thereafter, the accuracy of the data that has been transmitted. Okay. Then you need to count the latency, and thereafter the data aggregation rate. So these are the, we have referred many of the papers, and thereafter I have written that these are the 5 parameters that can be applied for the in the wireless sensor network. Okay, so energy efficiency is the 1, network lifetime you need to increase is the 2, data accuracy is 3rd, latency 4th, and data aggregation rate. So these are the taxonomy, but you can consider as the performance matrix. Okay, so performance matrix, these are the 5 performance matrix. Now let us talk one by one. What is the energy efficiency? Okay, so when you are performing the data aggregation, okay, so using the any technique, okay, maybe the leech or Pegasus or any other cluster base or tree base, okay, there are many ways that you can do the aggregation. Okay, so but when you are performing the aggregation technique, data aggregation technique will be energy efficient. So if it when the data aggregation technique will be energy efficient, if it provides the maximum functionality with the minimum energy consumption. Please remember, that is the reason that we have covered initial basis about the node structure, right? So energy efficiency, you can actually, I have simply written is equal to this, okay, but you can consider energy efficiency is equal to the amount of the data successfully transmitted divided by the total energy consumed to transfer those data. So that could be the energy efficiency. Okay, so this is the first performance matrix. Second is the network lifetime. The basic objective of the the data aggregation is to enhance the life of the network, not the one node, but the entire intermediate node. Maybe there are several mechanisms to calculate the initial energy, how much remaining energy of each of the nodes are having, right? So there are many ways that you can calculate, right? So number of data aggregation rounds. Now what do we mean by rounds? Rounds means when the sync node will give the instructions to the leaf node, that is the last node which sends the data. Okay, so the sync node will transmit some instructions, give instructions to the last node, and they sense the data and return. So this is the one round. Okay, it may be possible that after processing the one round, next sensor will be in the idle mode. Okay, so how many number of rounds are there, right? So this is the one round, and number of data aggregation rounds finished till the first sensor node exhausted its energy. So that is the way that you can calculate the network lifetime. Okay, then comes the accurate data. Okay, so data accuracy is there. Okay, so data accuracy you can calculate. I have simply written, in fact, the whole slides I have prepared yesterday. Okay, after referring many of the papers. So data accuracy, you can consider the ratio of the amount of the data transferred successfully to the total amount of the data sent. Okay, so you can see here the data accuracy is equal to amount of the data transferred successfully divided by total number of data sent. Okay, and please remember, this is not applicable for the one node. This is applicable to for the aggregation. It means the intermediate nodes and everything till the sync node. So the ratio of the amount of the data transferred successfully to the total amount of data sent is known as the data accuracy. This is the third performance matrix. Now the fourth is latency. Okay, so latency is the amount of the time. You can see the time of receiving data minus the time of sending data. Okay, and latency will be calculated based on you can have, again, this is applicable for the entire the nodes which is interacting till the sync node or base station, because aggregation is done at the intermediate nodes. And okay, so amount of the time between the data produced at the source node and the data packets received at the sync node. So these time difference you can consider. Why I have written the n? Because the n number of nodes are there. Okay, so that is the reason that we have written I is equal to 1 and summation up to the n, right? So this is the time rate difference. This is the, I suppose this is the fourth one, latency. Fifth one is the aggregation rate. Okay, so data aggregation rate, you can see that the data aggregation rate, let denoted by alpha I, is defined as the ratio of the amount. So you can see here that data aggregation rate is equal to DAG upon D sense, and whatever it comes, you multiply by 100. So where the DAG is the amount of data aggregated successfully, and this sense means how much data you have actually a data sense. So the amount of data aggregated successfully divided by total number of sense data, whatever you got, multiply it by 100, you will be getting the data aggregation rate. So these are the 5 performance metrics, okay, that you can consider. And almost all the wireless sensor networks, you can see that many of these performance metrics are there, because I have referred many papers, and I have shown these things are there. Even initially you can more focus, but please remember each of the performance metrics may be trade-off. Okay, they compromise. Okay, when you are going to enhance the accuracy, then it requires the energy. So it is possible that there is a trade-off in between the accuracy, energy, lifetime energy, right? So many trade-off will be done. Okay, so now we are talking about the data aggregation technique. So these are the importance. Okay, so there are many. You can see that here the left hand side and right hand side, there are two models. Okay, now so the left hand side you can see the data aggregation models, and right hand side that you can see the non-data aggregation model. Okay, what has happened, you can see here that there are 7 nodes are there, right? So this is the level 0. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, this is the level 0, because these are the leaf nodes, these are the sensor nodes. This is the level 1 where the 6 and 7 they are the intermediate nodes. This is the this is the level 2. So 0 1 and 2, this is the binary structure kind of things. Okay, so you can see now this model, when the sense data, okay, they were transmitted to the sync node will perform the aggregation. So please remember, the leaf node will not perform the aggregation, the sync node will perform the aggregation, and the aggregated data will be transmitted here. Okay, so similarly here you can see this is the non-data aggregation model, where the all sense data has been dumped to the base station, irrespective of filtering or aggregating. The whole data has been transmitted, right? So this is the way that you can see the data aggregation is done. There are several mechanisms. Now let us understand from the simple things, like when the sensor nodes are deployed randomly, okay, and there is no aggregation mechanism, so all the sensor nodes transmit their data directly to the base station. Now what is the problem? There are so many problems. One is the length. Maybe the these sensor nodes deployed at the distance places, so they will consume the more energy to send the data. Another is the everything has to be transmitted to the one sync node only. Okay, so yeah, there are so many issues are there you can consider, right? And the whole burden is coming on the this node only. So nothing, if 1,000 nodes are there, then this kind of centralized node will not work, overheads will increase. Okay, so this is the direct transmission. Now the Pegasus is the another power efficient gathering for sensor information, where the you can see that the Pegasus, the another aggregation technique is there, right? So these randomly selections, you can see that and then the sending to the base station. Now here the exactly then how data aggregation is done in wireless sensor network. So if you can see that there are many way that the data aggregation has been done. Okay, so the sensor data collected from the the node, and thereafter the aggregation has been done, that we have seen in the figure, and aggregated data will be sent to the base station. Otherwise it will return again for the collecting the data. Okay, so this is the way. And data aggregation is the the process of aggregating the sensor data using the various approaches, and many approach are there. Tree based approach, centralized based approach, cluster based approach, network based approach, right? So there are many ways that you can see, but one of the popular base is the leech, low energy and adaptive clustering hierarchy. This is the cluster base. Okay, so these aggregated data is then transferred to the sync node. So we will be discussing one by one. So cluster based approach is there, you can see, which is the most efficient approach. Okay, And leech is a very popular, protocol, low energy adaptive clustering hierarchy, which is a very popular protocols. Okay, and leech is, it is based on the clustering base. Okay, and the basic objective, you can see, the of the leech is to minimize the energy. Okay, so minimize the energy dissipation in the wireless sensor network. And okay, so uh, there are mechanism where how the leaches work. Okay, so that will be seen. And in each cluster, in one node is selected as a cluster head. Okay, so cluster head do the role of aggregation and perform the aggregation data. Okay, so data received from the cluster members locally. So from there, I mean, leech will work based on the local neighborhoods, please remember. Okay, so they collect the data from their local neighborhoods, and they send it to the cluster head. And please remember, cluster head is dynamic. Cluster heads dynamically change, okay, in the leech protocol, and they remove the redundancy and then transmit aggregated data to the sync node. Okay, so this is basically, now you can see in this figure that the four clusters has been prepared. These are the leaf node, these are the intermediate node, this is the sync node. So there are the node have been deployed in the sensor field, and they form the clusters. Okay, so they form the clusters and they send these data to the here, that is the sync intermediate node, and then this is the base station, and base station will transmit to the further for the processing purpose, right? So how the leech algorithm work, that will be seen here. This is the cluster based topology that we explained. And cluster based topology based on time division multiplexing, so TDMA schedule. So time slots are assigned to each cluster. You can see that for each cluster, three cluster here. Earlier we have seen the four cluster are there. Here you can see the three cluster there, right? So each clusters, the time is assigned to, okay, and the cluster member can sleep except in their own time slots. So if their time slots is not there, then in that case the cluster member will be in the sleep mode. Like this node you can consider, if their time is not undone, then this node will be in the sleep node. So you can see here, okay. And cluster heads cannot sleep, please remember. So you have to I mean, leech has been designed in such a way that cluster head should not be in the sleep mode, but it will change. Right now the cluster head is this one, but based on the equations, based on the technique, uh, this node will be the cluster. So it is almost all the nodes connecting in the cluster will at least become one time the cluster heads. Okay, so cluster head sends the data to the sync node, that is this, and other nodes for relaying purpose. So you can see here. Now the data aggregation, when we are talking about the leech, right? So leech, this is the low energy adaptive clustering hierarchy. They are having the two phase. Okay, so one is the establishment phase. Okay, that you can call the setup phase. Okay, and second one is the steady phase. So establishment and maintenance, in simple language you can say, the establishment the cluster and maintain the cluster, these are the two phase. So the setup phase where the cluster heads are chosen, and the steady phase where the cluster head is maintained. And when data is transmitted in between nodes, okay, so these are the two steps, these are the two phases of the leech networks. See, now in the first page you can see the cluster head selection. Now on what basis the cluster head selections has been done? So cluster heads can be chosen on the basis of the probability. So please remember, stochastically or probability based randomly on this algorithm, right? You can see that there must be some, each node there must be some threshold. Okay, so threshold, so this T of n, now the calculation of threshold of n is equal to P. Okay, so P is the, here I have written, P is the cluster head probability. Okay, and thereafter divided by 1 minus P multiplied by R. R we have explained. R is what? R is the round. So R mod P raised to minus 1. And so all these nodes, all these nodes belong to the graph, having the, you know, the nodes vertices, okay, communicating. Otherwise, T of n, threshold of n is equal to 0. So please remember this way that the cluster heads can be chosen. Okay, and where n is the random number, so random number should be in between the 0 and 1 only. Okay, so n is the random number in between 0 and 1, and p is the cluster head probability. Okay, because initial basis each of the cluster, each of the node will be you know, the having the some probability, but p will be for the selection of the cluster head, p threshold of n is considered, right? So G, we have discussed the set of nodes that were not cluster heads that previous rounds. So please remember this condition again has been given. G will be the set of nodes that were not cluster heads the previous round. So if n less than of the threshold of n, then and then the node becomes the cluster head, otherwise no. Okay, so this is the conditions, and the algorithm is designed in such a way that each node become the cluster head at least the one time. Okay, so this is the overall leech protocol that we have talked about. Okay, so the node that choose number below the threshold, right, and when the node receive you know, more than one advertisement, then they choose the nearest. Sometimes what happens, okay, sometimes it may be a possibility that the two nodes are having the same threshold of one, then in that case it will take the randomly or the nearest one if the probably, if the T of n is tie. Okay, so so these are the overall you know, the leaf protocol, these things. And so the advantage of the leech protocol, you can consider the major is the power consumption. Okay, and second part you can consider the energy deficiency of the network will be less. It is the robust. Okay, so and scalable also. So this lease protocol is very much useful in the scalable manner, and direct transmission is there, you can see. So this is the way that the leech protocol works. Now I can brief you that I have gone many of the paper, okay, which they have considered the leech as a base protocol, and they have enhanced something by using the leech. Okay, so you can see that one of the extended version, okay, enhanced version of the leech is the leech centralized, that is the leech C. So you can see the leech C is there, leech B is there, right? So here this version, a leech centralized version C, has a deterministic threshold algorithms. Here what we have done, the random. Okay, here we have done based on the probability base. But these fellow, okay, they considered on the deterministic threshold algorithms, and they take into account the energy. So they have enhanced the basic leech protocol. Whatever the basic this leech protocol exists there, they work on this, okay, and they actually enhance this by using some amount of energy in the node. So what they have done, threshold of n nu is equal to p upon 1 minus p multiplied by r mod p. The same equation he has used, okay, but they have added e of n current and E of n max. I mean energy related, right? So where E of N current is the current amount of energy, and E N max is the initial amount of energy. So by adding two, they have proposed, and they have, the new protocol, that is the Leach C, okay, based on the deterministic. Leach C, I'm happy to share that what I have learned from the paper, that by using the Leach C algorithms alone is proven that the first node has lifetime extended by 30%. Okay, so let's say they extend the lifetime of the network by 30%, please. Okay, no. Okay, so this is the great work, but this is not the one. Okay, you can see here, these all are the variances of the Leach protocol. Okay, Leach B, Leach C, Leach E, Leach F, Leach H, Leach M, TL Leach, multi-hop Leach, Leach Me. Okay, these are the variances of Leach protocol. Many people, many researchers, they have worked on the basic, and they enhance. Okay, they enhance the performance metrics that we have talked about earlier. Okay, so this is the parts now. Okay, so these in fact is the one part you can see, and okay, so differences we have seen now. Thereafter, the tiny aggregation, a generic aggregation service, to essence, these are there. Okay. Now, then the second approach, cluster, Leach is the cluster-based approach. Now, the second one is the centralized approach. You can see. Okay. So, centralized approach where you can see the this node. Okay. So, all these things will be sense and send it to the centralized approach. Okay, so you can see that each sensory in centralized approach, each sensory node select the most powerful node among its neighbors. Okay, so the selection will be based on their the feature, like which node is having the most powerful. Okay, and send the data packet via the shortest possible route, and assign aggregation work to the one node based on the selection or based on the appointment. Okay, so this is the parts, and the node which is having the more power and computation capacity. So then centralized approach, selection will be done, which is having the maximum energy, maximum computing capacity. Okay, and when you are applying the centralized approach, the all node will be transfer the send data to the particular nodes. Now there are advantage, disadvantage both. Okay, disadvantage is that the overheads will go, delay will increase, right? Processing yeah, capacity, though you are having the taken based on the computing facility, but again it will take time. So okay, so this central node will have the burden. Okay, and when this central node is failed, then again the problem is the data will not be transmitted. So many other issues that you can research here. So in where which node is working as central node. So please remember, when you are applying the centralized approach, so every connecting nodes, they are aware that this node is the central node where I have to transmit the data, and the central node aggregate these data, and then they send it to the base station or sink node that you can see here. This is the central node. Okay, so the central node will be formed again based on this. So you can see the central intermediary node is there, central node is there, and then the aggregated data sent. So this is the centralized base. This is not the cluster base. Cluster base, the differences is that the cluster is changed. Sometimes that this cluster, sometimes that this cluster, right? Like Leach protocol that you have seen. Okay. So second one is the centralized approach. Okay, so simple approach, but suffers from the very high traffic. Okay, like we talk about the overheads. Okay, so all the nodes will communicating to the centralized nodes. Then the high traffic will be there towards the central nodes. Okay, and because of the large number of data is transmitted, so transmitting data also requires the energy. So this is the second approach. You can see the third is the network based approach. Okay, so in a network based approach, you can see that the global process of gathering and routing information through the multi-hop network. Now, what do you mean by hop? I mean, the hop by like ad hoc networks managed, they work based on AODV is the very popular protocol, AODV, okay, ad hoc on demand distance vector routing protocol, which work basically hop by hop. So hop means the 20-meter range. And if you, one example I am giving, the multi-hop networks, like if you want to travel, I mean, the 100 meters, okay, in the network, okay, ad hoc networks I'm talking about, then, and each node is having the range capacity 20 meters, then you need 4 to 5 hop. Okay, so the first node will communicate to the next node and the 20-meter, and thereafter next node will communicate to the next intermediate node. Okay, so 20 meters. So by the way, you will be reaching to the last node, that is the destination node. So this is the hop by hop. Okay, so AODV, ad hoc on demand distance vector routing protocol, which is implemented in real time. Okay, so you can see that the AODV is the very popular routing algorithm for the for the ad hoc networks. And network based approach, processing data at intermediary node always. Now please remember that the entire this network base will work on the cooperative uh, environment. Each node must have to help in transmitting the data, each intermediate node. Otherwise, even you will be failed to establish the connect path. Okay, so like when we are talking about the AODV, ad hoc distance, the route discovery and route maintenance, there are, you can see that they broadcast to their local neighborhoods, and then local neighborhoods they transmit. If they are not the destination, they will transmit to the next node. Okay, and in the next node, if the destination is there, then they will reply RREP, otherwise it will transfer to the next node. So this process will continue until it reaches to the destination. So intermediary node should must help. Okay, and otherwise even the sensor networks or ad hoc networks will not work. Okay, so with the objective to reduce the resource consumption, resource, basically resource can be your computation, can be the energy. Okay, so this thereby increasing the network lifetime. Then and then, if you are able actually, if you are able to perform this, then and then you can increase the network lifetime. So there are two approaches. We are not going to cover much detail, but you can refer that size reduction approach and with size reduction approach and without size reduction approach, wherein you can see that in with size reduction approach, the process of combining and compressing the data packet received by the node from the neighbors in order to reduce the packet length, and that has to be transmitted or forwarded to the next node. So this is happening when you are considering with the size reduction. When you are considering without the size reduction, in this approach, the process merging data packets received from the different neighbors, okay, into the single data packets, but without processing the value of the data, it will be transmitted. So this is the overall the third approach. Okay, third or fourth. Then next is the tree based approach. So tree based approach for the data aggregation is performed, and aggregation by constructing the aggregation tree, and that is known as the data aggregation tree, that is the DAT. And one of the most powerful concept of the, the graph theory, all of you might have studied that minimum spanning tree, MST, where they avoid the cycle and find the shortest path road. So this is the MST use in the concept of this, they use in tree-based approach. Okay. And flow of the data starts from the leaf node, please remember. So the last node, which is the leaf node, they start flowing the data towards the root node, that is the sink node, that can be the base station, but in between the parent node will be there. Okay. And leaf node will be the child node, but leaf node, okay, and there in the data aggregation done by the parent node. So immediate child node, that is parent node, will perform the data aggregation. And each node has the parent node to forward the data. So this is mandatory in this case. But the disadvantage of the tree based approach is that wireless sensor networks are not free from the failure. Okay. So what I have written, in case if any data packets lost in between the transmitting from intermediate to intermediate, or child to parent node at any level of the tree, okay, the data will be lost. And not only for the single level, but for the whole related the subtree as well, then the entire data will be lost. Okay. So this is again where the tree based approach is not preferable. Okay. So cluster based approach is not preferable. So this you can see here, that is the level 1, that is the child node, that is then yellow color you can see, this is the parent node or intermediate node. And there this is the binary tree, but it can have the another kind of tree also, that is not okay. So that is not the case. Okay. So you can see that they sense the data, then transmit it to the parent node, and they transmit to the you can see that the sink node or base station. Okay. So aggregated data, so aggregation is done here. You can see that the blue color is the source node, and the sense data has been transmitted to the this, that is the parent. Okay. And parent node responsibility is to perform the aggregation using any function. Okay. And then transmit only the aggregated data to the base station. Okay. So this is the fourth or fifth. Here what I have done, that comparison I have made. Okay. So this is the comparison table for the data aggregation technique. You can see that the centralized network, tree, cluster, these are the various approaches that we have gone through. Okay. So and thereafter the performance metrics, like 4 to 5 performance metrics that you have seen. Okay. So delay, centralized, you aware that the center delay in the centralized will be the moderate. Network, the delay will also be the moderate, but tree delay will be the very less. Okay. And cluster, the delay will also be the very less. So if you compare this kind of algorithm, you find that these are the performance metrics. Okay. Because the cluster, the delay will be less, because the responsibilities of the cluster is to aggregate and send the data packet to the sink node. Okay. So and redundancy, redundancy again, duplication of the data packets are very less when you are considering the tree base and cluster based aggregation. Okay. But though it is the moderate in the centralized and in network. Accuracy, what you can see, the accuracy, though it is moderate, you will be finding in the centralized and tree base, but high accuracy will be given in the cluster base. That is the reason that the least protocol gives the high accuracy, and many of the researchers, they have enhanced the capacity of the least protocol. Okay. And traffic, you can see, and that the high traffic will be in the centralized, because all the nodes, they dump the data to the central nodes. In networks also, the high capacity will be there. Tree will be the traffic moderate, but in cluster will be the traffic very less. Okay, because the cluster nodes again the change. Okay, ch change. You have seen this. So this is the another performance that is the excellent one. You can say that the traffic is very less in the cluster. All nodes are not communicating to the straightway, right? So because sometimes when the node is not in operation mode, it will be in the idle. Okay, energy consumption, you can see that centralized approach will take the maximum energy. Okay, so centralized approach, you discard it. It is not suggested. Okay, then tree and cluster based approach, they take the less energy. Okay, and network obviously the moderate. Okay, so these are the overall comparison data aggregation technique. Now we are coming about the end of the session. So here you can see that this is the scenario. Okay, like every day, that huge data, gigabyte, terabyte generated, but unstructured, useless data generated and available. Now, 90% of the world data has been created. You can see that last 2 to 4 years. Okay, and when the IoT is coming in the technology, right, the whole scenario will change. Okay, so the hardware, even the manufacturing hardware should be compatible. Okay, and so many other challenges are there. And even in India, you can see that we in India hardly, I mean, very few equipment and hardware devices that our Indian IT company they manufacture. You can see that 60-70% hardware devices are importing from the either from the European country or from the America or China or some other country. So there is a huge challenge in future to design the hardware. Okay, I'm not talking about the wireless sensor network, but for the medical devices or some. Okay, so use data, you can see that generated, and data you can see it is the next one of the lecture where I have attended, and they are telling that data will be the next oil of the oil assets. Okay, so data is the one important uh, mm, assets. Okay, so gigabyte, terabyte data will be generated, but what have to do all these unstructured and useless data? We need to make this data in the useful manner, so that then you can see here that wireless sensor network can be applied for the Internet of the Things. Okay, and the collected data, that is the big data are there. You need to perform these data analytics. So like Professor Hitesh Shah sir, he was actually explaining that the talk will be more focused on the data analytics. So data analytics comes only after the aggregation. So I thought that it would be better if I cover the aggregation technique. So you can see this is the picture. Again, this figure I have taken from some of the paper, okay, which I have listed in the reference. You can see that this is the your sensor field. Okay, this is the sensor field. This is your sync node. Okay, so you can see the all the source node. You can see that the sync node is there. Then the aggregation is done, and aggregation data, the aggregated data will be storage. Okay, so again, this is not the final data. This has to be stored in the temporary somewhere, right? So that is, you can call it the raw data. Okay, and thereafter you have to store it, and then you apply the big data kind of platform you can use, like Hadoop, MapReduce, HBase, and then you produce some query. Okay, here you can have the kind of the algorithms, like you can apply the deep learning, machine learning algorithms also. Okay, so here you can see that these big data platform tools are available that you can utilize, but that comes only after having some raw data. Okay, and big data analytic applications like query, report, data mining technique, okay, so machine learning techniques, whatever way deep learning technique you can apply here on the available data. Okay, so these are the, in fact, the data feature. You can see the raw data, transfer data, and then big data analytics. And this figure I have taken from one of these. But again, the when we are talking about the big data, the volume of the data will be large. Maybe the sensor node generated the terabyte, petabyte, zettabyte, the data, and the kind of the data will be differ. Okay, the sensor devices, they generate the data will have the different kind of data. Velocity is again how much data generated from every milliseconds or seconds or minute or hour or month or yearly. It all depends upon what are the instructions given by the sync node to the leaf node. Okay, so the velocity of the data will be that is the differ. Okay, so huge challenges are there. And so this is the things, the last point of what I have right here, that suggestion, this is my suggestion for your research plan, that you have to perform the, when you are, maybe few faculty are pursuing the PhD, or few faculty are planning to do the PhD or research work, or even we like a professor, okay, who always write the kind of the paper. So always in the research plan, you must have the comprehensive literature. When we are talking about the comprehensive, it means the critical literature survey must be there. Critical literature survey of the existing strategy, like Leach we have covered in detail. Okay, so Leach is the existing work, the cluster based approach for the data aggregation. And what are the assumptions are there, what kind of environment they consider, what are the scenario, and find out the research gap. So after having the critical analysis of the literature survey, you will be finding the research gap, and then you need the problem formulation. Thereafter you need to formulate your problems, your objective, and each of the objectives should be achieved in the by the your research work. So formulate the performance parameters, like 4 to 5 parameters that we have discussed. Formulate your problems, formulate the objective, formulate the performance metrics, and performance evaluation. First you need to do the existing work, okay, the reliable existing which is already validated. Okay, so you can have some comparative analysis, and thereafter you need to propose some mathematical model, like Leach that you have seen based on the mathematical model, okay, probability and others, right? So you need to propose the mathematical model, and thereafter compare it analytically with the existing work, existing technique, okay, whatever. And for this you can use the simulations tools. Okay, so simulations tools, I have used the NS2 and NS3. You can use the other tools are also available, like TinyOS and MATLAB. So okay, so why I am asking to use the simulation tools, because deploying the sensor network is the costly affairs. Okay, you requires the huge investment, and the permission and so many other things are there. Okay, so some limitations are there. Because of the limitations, we are using the simulations tools. Okay, and develop your own algorithms and simulate it in the simulations tools. And 50-60% of the research papers, what we observe, that networking, wireless sensor networks or ad hoc networks, okay, they use the network simulator 2 or 3, but NS2 is no more in use. People, though they are using, but I mean, reliable acceptance of the research paper is again the question when the NS2 people are using. Rather, I would suggest to go and use the NS3. Okay, and NS3 is the Python base, and NS3 is most suitable simulations tools for wireless sensor networks and other kind of networks, where most of the existing algorithms are there. You can do the initial what we can call initial performance observation comparison you can have. And so performance comparison of your proposed protocol model with the existing one, like you have seen that the LeechC, they have compared with the existing one, basic Leech, and then interpretation of the results. So we have explained. Now, thereafter, you need to conclude and the limitations, because you are not going to complete every thing in the research work. You will be completing the few parts of your research. So there must be some limitations. So whenever you are writing your papers, you need to explain about the limitations and somewhat the future work. Okay. So this is the overall, final remarks. This is the references which I have used. These many, 12 papers which I have used to prepare your this presentation. Okay. So now with this I end here, and with the final remarks. So can you think any applications where the wireless sensor network would be the most useful, and you provide some solution? So this is the open question from my side. And with this, I conclude my session here, and I give the platform to the organizer, Professor Hitesh Shah. So thank you very much. Professor Hitesh Shah sir,
Thank you,
over to
sir.
you. Yeah.
Kavindra Jain on the other side. Thank you very much for your time, for your great thought about the research and the conclusion, especially, which I liked, because it's always told that research is just like a vampire's blood. Once you start it, you need to suck it always. And it's really great because there is no like conclusion in research. When even at the end of our research, we need to know that whether we are doing it properly or not, or whether what is the update in the literature that we had done. So I'm really very grateful for your talk in this session on data aggregation and all. So sir, this is a token of appreciation from our side for your delivering this talk. I'm really very happy to provide this vote of thanks to you for this session, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes,
Sir,
sir. So thank you. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay,
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Participants, our next session would start at 2 o'clock. Next speaker is Dr. Devesh Jinwala from SVNIT Surat. Thank you, participants. We will have a post-lunch session at 2 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you, Nirbhay sir. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure, sir. I hope I have delivered the best way. Okay.
Yeah,
So
definitely. It was the
yeah,
very best, and really the data aggregation part was really commendable, sir.
yeah, because it is required, and so many research work is going in this area. So
Correct.
so thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Okay. Nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure.